Hi guys, Tiffany here. So I know it's been a few days, but I'm here. Don't worry, I'm okay. I just have been busy, so life outside of quilting has been keeping me very busy lately. So before I get to anything, for those of you that are new and joining my video here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button right here, right there. There's a subscribe button, and if you hit that, a little dingling bell is going to come up. It's a notification bell. If you hit that, you can actually get notifications every time I am live, since that's how I make my videos right now,
When you hit it, YouTube should actually make it ding.
Huh?
When you hit it, YouTube should make it ding.
Probably they should. And also, like my videos. You can go through my channel and scroll down and find anything you would like to watch. Right now it's just, beginner stuff, which is pretty much what I make, is beginner-friendly stuff. So, alright. Anyways, let's get started. Today's video is, okay, so I made for those of you who are my customer quilt, the Christmas one, I made, that thing is humongous. And I don't even have the last border on because it's going to be a scalloped border. Right now it's 93 inches square. It's huge, so it has one more border. It'll come out to about 102 inches square, but it's going to be scalloped, so I'm waiting to put that part on. Right now I'm going to make myself a pieced backing for it to use up all the pieces that were left from making the quilt top, because, well, I don't need any of this Christmas stuff, and it's small remnants that I'm going to cut up. And I drew myself a little design here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's on paper. I drew a little thing of kind of the idea of what I'm going for, which will be central of the quilt. Like, it's going to be reversible. So what happens when you turn it over, what sits on the bed itself will be this design, and then anything that I add to the sides to make it as big as the quilt top will just hang down the sides of the bed. So it'll look cool. Hello, Pamela. Yeah. Notifications sometimes don't come to everyone, so if you just got it, I just got on, so that's good that you're getting it. Anyways, so what I am going to do here, and I will tell you guys everything I'm doing. First, real quick, I do need to share that my birthday was Sunday, and my daughter and my husband spoiled me. So my husband got me a full 15-yard bolt of black fabric, which is what I go through the most. And my daughter got me a wall separator so that, you guys don't have to see what's in the background. Obviously, this side's background is okay, but my son's going to bring it over here to show you guys. I'm actually going to cover this wall separator thing because it's made of cloth. If you guys can see it, it folds up, but it's made of cloth, so I'm going to actually cover it with little mini long quilts and also use it as a design wall. So one side will be quilt and the other side will be to hang up and use as a design wall. So it's a pretty nifty idea that she got me to use as a wall separator, so you don't see certain backgrounds like my washer and dryer and water heater and the disaster that's always on that side. So here, take that back over there. And then my daughter also, she spoiled me for real. So everybody knew that Squeaky took a dump. Squeaky is my shark iron that is leaking, and she went and got me a brand new Black & Decker. I have not used it yet because I'm kind of just, whatever out here. I've been doing all sorts of stuff, so I haven't had a chance to plug it in. But she got me a brand new Black & Decker iron. Hello, Linda. Hi, Sonia. And then she also, she says she went and bought that for me, and then the day after she went to Goodwill and she saw more irons. She got me this little mini Rowenta. It's just a little travel iron, and it's super adorable. So she got me this from the thrift store, and then I've been using this other one. She got me another. It's a Proctor Select, but it's a backup iron pretty much. So I have one for my little itty bitty ironing board and travel, which I never do, but hey, it works great though. I like it, and another backup iron. So now I have 3 backup irons and a good one, the Black & Decker, which I will plug in as soon as I get the chance to do so. But yeah, I have so many irons now, they're coming out of my ears, let me tell you. And then she also got me a load of batiks. Oh my goodness, that girl just got me 22 5-piece fat quarter bundles of batiks. Let me tell you, oh, lots and lots of them. And I'd get them out, but I already kind of cleaned it up and put it all away. And then what else did she get me? That was it, irons, batiks. So yeah, she gave me a ton of stuff. So my birthday was a very spoiled day. I got spoiled for my birthday. And then Teresa, everybody knows her. She's usually here. She made me a wallet with my initials on it. I'd show you guys, but it's in-house. But it's a really cute wallet, and it has little hanging jewels that hang from it and stuff, and it's in purple, my favorite color. My son's here being silly. But yeah, so Teresa, again, I've already told you, if you're watching this, thank you so much, because I love the wallet. It's amazing. So, and I got fuzzes flying everywhere. So anyways, let's get to what I was doing. So I have a bunch of this, which I was going to use as the backing. There's 3 yards right here in this pile, and then I have a yard and a half right there, and there's a whole stack of all the leftover pieces that are all nice and pressed and ready for me to build something with. So I'm going to move some of it out of the way. And as you can tell, my Juki is right here because I was free motion quilting, so everything is off the frame, and I was just doing free motion quilting to get things situated. Yes, I went out for a steak dinner. We went out for steak dinner. So what ended up happening is my 100 subscriber dinner, my husband and I went to Red Robin because I swapped. Instead of doing Red Robin for my birthday, we did the steakhouse for my birthday and then did bacon cheeseburgers for my 100 subscribers. That way it was balanced out. So we went out for a steak dinner on my birthday, so which was supposed to be the 100
could have got a steak burger.
We just swapped it to make it easier so that we don't have to go out a bazillion times because we really can't afford it. But we did it anyway. So yeah. Hi, Tracy. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do here is I have, like I said, here is a big, huge pile right here. I don't know if my son, can you tell me if you can see this area right here? I have this big stack right here. And this one I'm going to move over to this pile. This one I'm going to cut into 1.5-inch strips. This one I'm going to cut into 1.5-inch strips. I'm trying to keep my piles really nice. And I have a white and a red that I added to it only because it's Christmassy. And this is more 1.5-inch strip stuff. More 1.5-inch strips. Okay, now we're at the stuff I'm cutting into 2.5-inch strips. So this whole pile, okay, so what it really was 1/4 yards. And it's not the full length of fabric anymore because I cut off like, I don't know, 10, 11 inches off of each. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 1/4 yards, but missing some. So if you want to make something, this is just mainly for ideas technically for you guys. If you want to make something, this is a great idea right here to make. So I'm going to take all of these 1/4 yards, except for this one on the bottom, which is like a fat 1/4, but just a little bit bigger. And I'm going to start with these guys, and I'm going to stack them up because I am going to cut them down into 2.5 inches because I am going to make some blocks for my piece back. And I buried my ruler and rotary cutter. That's me, guys, burying things. There it is. It's a good thing my blade isn't open, huh? I probably would have cut myself. I only leave it open, but to the side. You guys know that. And right now I don't need to press anything. Right now we're just cutting. So I'm going to line these on here. I'm probably going to just fold them in half because my board is not the long way. So I'm going to fold a couple of them in half and stack them on top of each other. And just do like 2 at a time, just so you guys can get the general idea of what I'm doing. And I'm going to try to line them as close as possible to each other so that I can get the best cut of all these pieces. I'm going to put them close to the line. And there's my daughter calling. Hello? I'm on my YouTube Live. What's up? Okay. Oh, you gonna come by then? Say hi? Oh, okay, well, I'm on my video right now, okay? Love you too, bye. Sorry guys, that was my daughter, Alexa. You guys have all met her. Alright, so I am going to take my rotary cutter and I'm going to line these up on a line. And I'm just going to cut a bunch of 2.5 strips. So these are like, right now, they're like, I would have to say 9 inches by, I don't know, half of the length of fabric. So, not half, a little bit more than half. And I haven't changed out my blade with all these projects that I've been doing. So it's kind of getting dull. Oh my god, are you serious? It didn't make any cut whatsoever. There we go.
Mom, you should show people how to change a blade.
I don't need to show anyone how to change a blade. Everybody knows how to change a blade. Alright. So now I'm just going to cut 2.5 inch strips. And look at that. It's really, seriously, barely cutting.
So change the blade.
I'm not going to change the blade right now. Don't feel like it. I'm not in the mood.
You must though.
No, I don't must.
Yes, you must.
Hi, Billy. Let's see. Great. Alright, since you guys are talking amongst yourself, I have the phone on the charger on the opposite side over there. That way once I get to the sewing machine part, I can see better. So I'm probably going to get 3 2.5 inch cuts off of each of these, and then the last cut, I'm going to try to get what I can off of it just to straighten it up a little. It's not cutting the top right here. It must have an indentation. Let's see what I got left here. Not 1.5 inches, almost though. Almost. So we'll cut it out at 1 1/4 and just leave it at that for my scrap pile. Okay. So I'll just make a little small scrap pile. I can probably add it into something. I'll move those out of the way. Grab some more. Hey, stop please. Stop doing that. Please, thank you. So I'm just cutting 2.5 inch strips off of all these. Because it's what's left of my Christmas fabrics for this lady's quilt. Stack this one on top of this one because this one seems like a straighter edge. Get a better line. There we go. Laying on top nicely. Putting it on a line.
Mom, I have a theory.
Hmm.
Maybe your tension or whatever you call it will be better if you have the slower speed.
The machine? No, it's actually worse at a slower speed. Look at that. If I cut harder, it works better. Alright, we'll cut some more 2.5 inch strips. I'm just going to cut all this up into 2.5 inch strips. And there's probably, look at that, there's actually 1.5 inches left on this last one. That's okay because I can use those for strip piecing. So I'm getting 3 from every one. So this is like, especially if you need a quick idea for a Christmas quilt, you know, this is definitely a pretty quick and easy idea. It's the cutting part that's taking a few minutes. But I kind of wanted to get to it from the beginning, from cutting and all, you know. And this one's kind of a lousy cut from the shop, let me tell you. Put that in there, right there. Line them both up nicely. Put it on a line and cut. Yes, I'm talking to myself, sort of. I have a little basket that I keep all my, like, cuts off of things in down there. Again, I'm cutting 2.5-inch strips for those, if there's anybody new joining, off of 1/4 yard cuts. They're not a full quarter, I mean it's a 1/4 in width, but it's not a 1/4 in the length of fabric. And this one, oh, look at that. This one has more than that one, so I'm going to separate them. I'm going to make a straight line on this one at 1 1/4. Put this in my scrap pile. And this one has 1.5's worth. Look at that. That way everything's ready when I go to just cut everything again. I don't have to cut no more. Just pile. So you guys talking about going to a quilt show? Line this up on the line. Make sure I get all of it in that whole cut. Slide it forward ever so slightly. Try not to waste too much. Trying to get all I can out of this fabric. Because I have a big,
Mom, will you
huge
eat strawberry
backing.
Pop-Tart?
Not right now, no. I have a big, huge backing to make. It's got to be at least 4 inches bigger than the quilt when it's finished. For the frame part. And that's all the way around. So, use up as much as I can of all this. And I'm going to get 1 1/4 off this last piece. Put that in that pile. Let's show in Houston. Ooh, Diane, you're going to go to it, huh? That's cool. I wish I could go to quilt shows. It's a lot of travel for me, though. And you guys know me, I don't travel. Diane lives in Texas, though, so if it's a quilt show in Texas, then she definitely can go. Alright, line them up on the line again. Oh, gotta make sure I get all of it. Another thing, when you're making sure you get all of the layers correctly, just go through them on the sides and make sure all the layers that you're cutting are in the visual of the line that you're trying to start with. And these are going to be the last 2.5-inch cuts. Or at least these fabrics, because I'm going to mix them all up after on the next cut after this, because I'm just going to pre-cut everything. I'm going to put a lot of this one. Maybe probably, let's see, right there, 1.5. This one's probably 1.25. Wow, that's exactly 1.25 almost. Alright, so these can go in this pile. All these can go in this pile there. Alright, this one I am also going to cut down into 2.5-inch strips. And I pressed everything nicely so that it lays nice and flat. I'm just going to cut this full one up into 2.5-inch strips. I'm still piecing the backing. Oh, no, this is a backing, yes. This can be a quilt top, though, for those that need quilt top ideas. That's why I'm showing you guys what I'm doing. Yeah, I'll show you guys the quilt top in just a second. Give me a second to cut this up, and then I'll show you guys. See if my son will come back in here and help me hold it up, because it's super duper large. Like I said, it's 93 inches square, and that's without the last border, which is a going to be a scalloped border. And this one is also being cut into 2.5-inch strips. This one's almost the full. I only cut a little tiny bit off of this one. It's almost a full 1/4 yard. So since it's as long as it is, I will use my weight to keep it nice and straight for me. Just for that first cut. The rest of it I can do. And I'm just using the lines on my ruler to make my cuts, instead of using the mat. Sometimes I find the ruler markings to be a little bit easier for me to follow. And look at that. One more. All the way. Yep. That was almost exact. Alright, so now I have, how many more? This part. I guess I can throw one of these in. No, I'm not going to. The rest of these, I will save them all for the next part. And there goes my design wall. It doesn't like to stay. Alright. So now, I'm going to grab a smaller ruler from over here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. This is my 6.5 inch Postcards ruler, because what we are going to do now is take all of these and subcut them into 6.5 inch by 2.5 inch rectangles. And my space is kind of limited with my machine base being right here, but it kind of helps me when I'm sewing. So I'm just going to line them all up and cut them. I don't look any close to any of that. We have our quilt show in November's here, but not this November, next November for my local quilt show. And I'm going to enter some quilts in. By the way, I'm just kind of stacking all of these on here. It's going to be like 7 layers, but that's okay. I can cut it, even with a dull blade. So I'm going to cut my selvage off real quick. And then I'm just going to use the width of the ruler because that's as I want a 6.5. I'm going to subcut 6.5 inch by 2.5 inch strips. I don't know how many I'm going to get out of all this, but we'll see. Might be able to get one more. Oh, that's like super duper close. It's literally right on it. So I managed to get all those 6.5 inch cuts off of that. I'm just going to stack these up and out of the way because those are ready, and I'm just going to go with the rest of all these now. So what's everyone up to this Wednesday afternoon? Anybody doing anything fun besides being right here watching me? Oh, let's just make this easy on myself. Move that out of the way. Maybe I should have just done that in the first place. I'm just going to start stacking all these up so I can subcut them really quickly. So again, I'm just cutting them and subcutting them into 6.5 inch by 2.5 inch pieces. I'm going to kind of keep the colors together because of the way I'm going to put these together. I want to be able to mix them up and grab from each pile. And I'm using all Christmas print for those who are wondering. It's all the leftover Christmas stuff from the big one, which I will... Cyrus, are you out here? Guess he's not. Give me 2 seconds. CJ, can I borrow you for a sec? Alright, he's going to come out here and help me real quick. Can you do me a favor?
What?
Oh, never mind, your hands are goofy. No way.
No, they're not.
I'm not going to have you help me with... No, you have hot dog fingers. No way. Just give it a few minutes.
So,
Finish eating and then...
Yep.
Finish eating. That way I can have you help me help that up real quick.
Hold it up.
Yeah.
What makes you wanna do that?
So putting all the colors together, guys, just so you know. Alright, I'm going to stack them doubles. That way I can get more cuts at once. I'm just making sure all the salvages line up so that some I'm not cutting off, not getting the salvage area because I want that gone. Don't want any of the salvage, even though sometimes every once in a while I do end up with the salvage in the quilt accidentally because it's just like a sliver of it. Such a small little area that got missed because something stacked below it was shifted or something. So it doesn't matter as long as it's hideable in your 1/4 inch seam, but I'm trying not to do that with this part.
Well, if you have a bigger piece, why don't you just sew it more?
I don't have big enough pieces. This is all I have. So I'm just going to keep stacking these up on top of each other. Nice and level. Oh, yeah, just a few more colors to go. It's a lot of work. But this should go together pretty quickly once all this is organized and put together. The sewing it part should be fast. Well, for me it's fast. I don't know about everybody else. I've been told I sew kind of fast, which I know I do because I like my machine to go faster. It's like driving a car. When I'm in a car, I like to go fast. I try my best to obey the speed limit. Not on the highway though. I try my best not to obey speed limits on the highway. I'm not saying that I'm speeding or anything. When I had my motorcycle, it was worse.
Mom,
Yes.
you will not surpass Justin when you're on a dirt road in a truck.
Is your
Justin
fingers
likes
clean
to-
yet?
What? No.
Well, hurry up, please.
Justin likes to literally drive around and mess around in the dirt faster than you can drive on road.
I know he does. Okay. Here's the quick part. Let's chop all this up. Just gonna get rid of all the salvages first. Making this a lot easier to just get it done. Alright, here we go. Your fingers clean yet?
No. Why would you need that?
To help me hold the thing up.
I'm holding anything up out.
Takes 2 seconds.
It takes 10 hours.
Okay, those aren't going to be 6.5. And stack these out of the way. Go to the next pile. It's good when you choose something that works with the size rulers that you already have so that you don't have to do anything else but make the cut. That's not going to work. Stack these out of the way. Go to the next pile. Again, I'm just subcutting them into 6.5 by 2.5 inch pieces. And it's a really hot day here in November, here in Havasu.
It's cold.
It's not
Talk
cold, it
about.
is sweaty hot, so my hands are
No,
sweating,
it's
my
not.
body's sweating.
You're crazy, Mom.
It's hot here.
No, it's not. It's cold.
tripping, kid.
Oh no. You're just sick, so you feel hot.
So all these leftovers I'm going to use for other stuff. If they were the full strip, I think you'd get 5 cuts off of each strip. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure.
I don't quote on it. It'll make your life so much easier.
Not enough. And last one.
Mom, did you know?
No, I did not.
Oh, and I'll have to tell you.
I love you too.
There's stuff I said I don't have to tell you.
And that's not enough. Okay. Oh,
That's enough.
no, it's not.
That is.
And all my leftovers, I'm just going to stack. Crocheting while watching. Fun. I wish I learned how to do all that. We have that stuff in here, but I just don't know how to do it.
It's called take the thread.
It's
weave
not
it on
thread,
one,
it's yarn.
Take the yarn, weave
Alright.
it on one.
So
and
now
take
here's the
other,
fun
put
part.
it through
The quilt top. Okay guys, I'm gonna see if you can see how well you can see so I can show you what I'm building a backing for. Whatever. Alright, come here. Come here, hurry up.
Come on. God.
This is my customer's quilt top.
But what if she's watching?
She knows what it looks like.
Oh.
See that? It's quite huge. So it's way over there, and I'm way over here. So yeah, that's pretty big. You guys can see that. The sun is shining on it. Trying to keep it off the floor. It's white. And very dirty. So.
I don't think anything changed.
Alright. So that's the beast. Okay. Alright, so what we're going to do, I'm going to take my little piles here, put all these colors together. That way I can grab from a specific color, from a specific pile. And I did not like count how many pieces exactly there would be either. I just kind of drew something up and I'm going to put them together and whatever happens, happens. If there's leftovers, it'll just go in my next scrap pile because it seems no matter what scraps you cut up, you always have more. Which is like basic quilting. No matter how many scraps you have, you cut those scraps up and you have more scraps. It's just how it works. Oh, what was that? Okay. By the way, this was not a scheduled video. This is just me messing around since I haven't been here in a while. A few days. And the girls are in there, so I'm just out here doing this. Everyone's calm and content for now, so I get to mess around out here. Alright, so here's my 2.5 by 6 inch pieces. There we go. They're all the Christmas fabric. So what I'm going to do is grab my 1/4 inch stopper and adjust this directly to the machine more. Put my little 1/4 inch thing down because I like to make sure that I'm always at it or else I miss. It's a bad habit. Hi, Teresa. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab 3 pieces, 3 different colors. So 3 different colors, 3 different pieces, and I am going to sew them one on each side of a solid, which I'm considering this green to be a solid, and I'm considering this red to be a solid for, you know, for video's sake. I'm not going to back stitch or anything. I need a puddle to be able to sew. I also need to smallen my stitch length. I was quilting, so unfortunately I totally forgot to do all that part. Sewing with a 2.0 stitch length. I'm going to flop it over. I'm going to press it to the dark, which would be to the middle. On all of them I'm going to press to the middle. That means I'm just going to press my seam to the center of my finger. And I'm going to put the other one on the other side. Line it up, and since they're all 6.5 inches, they're easy to line up. And again, I'm going to press that one towards the middle. And there's one block so far. But technically I'm going to add more to it, so for now this is the block. And I'm just going to make a big huge stack of those. And I'm just going to choose 3. So one of my 2 solids are a green and a red, and then all the rest are for the sides. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going to make a bunch of these. So it's kind of pretty much making just like the rail fence. So it's just like doing the rail fence. It's 3 blocks or 3 strips. Some people do it with 4. But except when I go to do the rest of this, it won't be. I'm going to add different, more pieces to make a bigger block. This is just the basic center section of my blocks. I'm just going to finger press them. Again, there's another one right there. I'm just going to make a big stack. I'm going to just start with all the greens and kind of just work with all them. But I'm using 3 different pieces so that they're all different. All my strips I want to be different, my strip sets. I am making a piece backing for my customer quilt, which can be used as a quilt top for those who need quick quilt top ideas. There's another one. So now that I showed you 3, I'm going to now chain piece this whole stack of greens and some reds. I gotta start using some reds with other colors, and then I'll just add 1 to each side. After I chain piece this, I'll chain piece the other side of all these the rest of the way. just going to keep grabbing one, throwing it on here, leaving the other one on the machine. I'll do like 10 and then come back and add the other side. Because I don't know how many pieces I actually have all together. And I want to make sure they're all mixed up, because that's the whole purpose of what I'm doing, is to mix it all up so that I have a reversible quilt when I am finished. Yeah, I cut for, since you're just got here, Teresa, I cut 2.5 by 6.5 inch rectangles, and I'm sewing them in sets of 3. And I'm just putting them right sides together and chain piecing them through. Kyle wants to fall. With a 1/4 inch seam. Mixing all of these up as best as I can mix them up. Trying not to have as many alikes as possible. Even though there probably will be. So what I'm going to do is bring this whole pile around. And I'm going to sew the other side. That way I don't run out of pieces and end up sewing them all and not have another side. So come back around to the other side and chain piece it through again, leaving all of them hooked together. Just making sure I'm sewing on the correct side, which it should line up to the correct side. And standing is like, I don't know, I keep hitting my needle, my thread cutter from my presser foot. I had it sitting on a box, but it keeps moving forward, and I keep pressing the end of it. Because my thread cutter is when you hit heel back on my thing. So, try to get it just right. Again, I'm mixing them all up. In sets of 3. Hi, Shervia. I'm still going. It's going to be plenty of blocks, and then I am going to cut some more pieces to make the blocks bigger. Should be pretty cute by the time I'm done, since it's going to be a reversible Christmas quilt. The only thing that won't be reversible is the quilting on the top. It should just look good on the back no matter where the quilting ends up in it, which is just fine by me. So again, they're hooked together twice, but these are it. So I'm just gonna lay them aside. I'm not even gonna press them because I'll do that when I'm done. Okay, so I have all my blocks are all scattered around being different. So they're not the same at all. So just like rail fence, just 3 blocks, and sewing all the Christmas ones together. So these will be my 2 solids, is what I'm considering solid. They read solid for sure. And then I will start over again, making more of the pile. But for now, I'm going to set it aside so I can show you the next part that I'm doing, because that way I can make it a regular video. So for now, this is what I have made. I'm going to move those aside, slide this out of my way again, and plug the iron in, which I don't think you guys can see me while I'm ironing, but we'll see right now if you can see over here. I have to tip you just a little so you can see. Ever so slightly right there. And obviously you see my car. So like I said, I haven't used my other iron yet, but I'm going to press all these real quick. And I wanted them to be finger pressed inward towards the dark, so that when I press the whole thing, it folds them in. So I'm just going to kind of give them all a little finger press inward towards the dark. That way all my seams are going the same exact direction on all of these blocks. Just want to give it that general fold in so that when I press it, it lays nice and flat. So from the top, I'm going to fold it in, making sure that there's no folds or anything in it, because we don't want that. We want a nice flat block. And if you, like me, and use steam, I would say steam the block. And when you are finished, every block should come out exactly 6.5 inches. Okay, so they should come out to be 6.5 inch square. So there's it on the front. They should all come out to be 6.5 inches. If you pressed them or moved them funny, they won't let sit 6.5. They'll be funky. But if you cut everything right and sewed a 1/4 inch seam and pressed it nicely without bowing anything, which is hard to do with the strips like this, but should all lay nice and flat. Said use steam if you need. This iron is not as steamy as my other ones are, but that's okay. It's okay not to have a steamy iron. And for quality control, you just take your 6.5 inch ruler and make sure that all your blocks are coming out 6.5. So again, I'll show you. There's another one. They should all be 6.5 inches. It makes the next part easier of what we're going to do. Yeah, this one does not like to lay my blocks the way I want them. I don't like doing it that way. That's why I pre-finger press everything. Made that go outward instead of inward, but you know what, I don't care right this very second. Just want to press it and be done so we can get to the next part. I can't see comments, guys. I have to keep my phone plugged in because it was dead before I started, and a few of you know that my phone does not stay charged at all on its own, like ever. My phone hates me. And it's had 6 years now to get to know me, and the darn thing still does not. It just hates me no matter what. It should know all the things I do with it, but no. It does not like me. And again, just randomly take a block, measure it, and it's 6.5, just the way we want it. I kind of just do that randomly throughout to make sure everything's coming out the way I want it to. A few more, we'll get to the next part. And again, one more time. Like I said, I just check randomly throughout, and that's 6.5. So that's what I want. So I'm going to move those over, turn the camera a little, back to where I was, right here. Alright, guys. I'll leave my iron on, no big deal. Alright, so I have my little stack of blocks, and what I'm going to do is take another color, which I saved only reds and only whites. So I did have some white solid and some red solid, and then I have the leftover one that I really didn't like that nothing sticks to as well. And I am going to cut 1.5 inch strips off of this. My head is chopped out of the way, but I want you guys to see. I didn't think it would be that low. I want you to be able to see what I'm doing, but see my face. I hate when you guys can't see my face. Makes me think that I'm talking to nothing, you know? It's so weird, at least for me. Hi, Dwana. Hi, Sinead. Alright, so I'm going to cut some 1.5 inch strips, so I'm going to line this up on a number real quick so that I get the best, most accurate cut and make sure both layers are going exact. And this is the full width of the yardage, by the way, so it's I'm going to use my weight for this. Alright, so I'm going to cut 1.5 inch strip. A few of them, I should say. Might as well use my weight up here. So again, I'm cutting 1.5 inch strips. For now, I'll just cut 3 so you guys can see what I'm doing, and then I'll cut 3 off of another color. Okay, let me grab another color so that you guys can see. Move those out of the way. Line this up on a line. There. Again, this is the full width of the fabric on this one as well. So I'll put my weight up here. Line it up on a line, making sure that I'm getting a nice straight cut. And I'm going to cut 3 1.5 inch strips off of this one as well. Like I said in the beginning, there is no measurements. I'm kind of just going off my drawing. I don't know exactly how much fabric you're going to need because all I'm using is all the scraps from my Customer Quilt. I'm just going to try to use every last bit of it up, minus those little itty bitty scraps from the first cuts, and I'll probably have a couple little ones here, and I'll just make a little table runner or something with it, the rest of it. For now, I'm just going to show you guys what block I'm making. Alright, move that out of the way. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, so I'm going to leave them folded in half. And I just line them up. Since it's the full width of the fabric, I can line it up a lot easier that way. I just grab them at the selvage end and I just use my fingers to make a straight line. And you can even stack them if your fabric has been starched at all and pressed nicely. You can stack nicely as well. So I'm going to line all the selvage up. And I'm going to chop it off right here, all at the same time. And my first cut, I'm just going to take it from all of these, my first cut is going to be 6.5 inches. Now I'm going to leave these right here, and I'm going to take a block, and I'm going to take a 6.5 inch red, and I'm going to put it on one side, and it should line up perfectly. Okay, since I don't have different camera angles for you guys, it should match right up. And I'm going to sew, yeah.
Okay, we're going to do supper soon.
Okay, I'm trying to do a block real quickly, so.
That's fine, do your thing, I'm just letting you know we're getting it ready.
Okay. I'm going to make sure that my seams are staying pressed the way I left them. I'm going to sew it on, and I'm going to leave that on there, and I'm going to take another red one, and I'm going to go on this side. So I'm going one on each side, but I'm sealing off the seam side first. So I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch down this side. I'm going to take it over. Since you can't see, I'm just going to stand right here. I'm going to warm my seam real quick and then roll it back. I'm going to warm it and then roll it back on both ends. And then you should have something that looks like this. So I'm gonna make sure, because I know it's 9 inches, but it could be less. It might be 8.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. Yep, so my next cut is 8.5. I wasn't sure because you guys know me. I'm horrible at math. So I'm gonna take the same folded strip and the next one as well. I'm gonna put them back together right here. I'm gonna line them up on a line, and I'm gonna go to 8.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. I'm just going to use the lines on the mat. And I'm going to cut 8.5 inch strips. Making sure everything's all nicely lined up. And I should have an equal amount, obviously. And that could stay right there, for each red and for each white. So now I'm going to take 2 reds, right sides together, and it should be 8.5. And I'm going to put them on here, one on each end, and sew on these ones. And there should only be 2 seams to go over. There's nothing to match up doing this. I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to grab the other one and put it on the opposite side. So there should be one on each side. I'm going to line it up, right sides together. Quarter inch down the side. And I'm going to press this open. I'll warm my seam up and then just roll it back. And we should have a block that looks like this. And it should be 8.5 inches square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. And if you want to make sure for a fact, grab an 8.5 inch ruler. There. And it should be exact. This is how I always make sure my blocks are what they're supposed to be. I just use the rulers of the size of my finished block. In case I needed to press it better or trim something, I can. So I'm going to make one more and show you what I just did again, but I'm going to use a different color. So I'm going to grab another one, and I'm going to start with my little 6.5 inch and put it right sides together, and I'm going to start on the side that seals the seams off. So if your seams are going this way, I'm going to start with my block up, my piece that I'm adding to the top. Right sides together. Flip it around, add another one to the other side. Making sure my seam stays folded in where I wanted it and that it's not flipping back. I'm going to press this out. I'm warming my seam first so that it relaxes it and it folds back nice without yanking or tugging or anything. And I just noticed that this cut was just a little bit farther than it was supposed to be, so I'm going to straighten that up real quick. Like really literally just a sliver. Okay, and then I'm going to take my 8.5 inch by 1.5 inch piece. Again, now I'm going the opposite way. And this might be a couple videos worth of, since I have to go in a few minutes to feed the babies. And then I'm going to add another one, 8.5 by 1.5 inch strip to the opposite side. Make sure you press them open before you add them, or else you're going to be sewing a fold, which you don't want that. But it's an easy, simple mistake to make. Alright, now I'm going to press these out. And this is the fabric that doesn't press very well either. At least for mine. And then again we get another 8.5 inch block. And make sure, take an 8.5 inch ruler, line it on there, and it lines up perfectly. So now we have 2 opposite color blocks, like this. My next video, when I come back, I will show you the other block that I'm making that goes with these blocks, okay? So let me look at comments real quick, see if anyone has anything to say, and I will lay this right here so you can see it while let's see if it stays. There we go. That's what I just made, guys. So that you could see 2 of them. Made 2 different, yeah, like I knew that was gonna happen. See if I can get it to stay. Right there. There we go. Okay, so I made 2. Alright, let's see what you guys have to say before I get off here. Oh no, he's feeding. I need to go in because the littler baby doesn't eat for anyone else but me. It's kind of weird. She's very picky when it comes to who feeds her. So yes, I'm going to come back in a little while. I cannot guarantee the time. I'm going to feed babies and then I'll come back and I'll show you guys a different block that I'm making that's going with these blocks. So, all right, guys. So for now, I'm going to go and then I'll come back and show you what else I am making. So again, these are 3 2.5 inch strips by 6.5 inch hooked together. Okay. And then I pressed my seams in. If that's a personal preference, I'm just pressing them in because I know that my center color is the darkest color. And then I'm going around with a 1.5 by 6.5 inch piece and sealing the seam first. The side that has the 2 seams, I'm sealing that off first. I prefer to do it that way. So I'm sealing that off first. And then after those 2 are on, 1 on each side, then I do the top, which is a 1.5 by 8.5 inch piece, which will go across the top part once those pieces are on. Okay. And I'm doing 2 different colorways. I'm doing 1 in white and 1 in red. So it's equal both different ways according to how many blocks I make. So if you just do this part and not my next video's worth, then you will just have a great Christmas quilt idea of mixing up colors. It looks like the rail fence, but I'm adding extra and I'm going to alternate the colors, but you'll see because there's going to be an alternate block in as well, which will be my next video. So alright guys, I'll let you go and I'll see whoever comes back in a little while. I'll see you guys later and thank you for watching. Bye.